Hi, I'm Jochen Schlese from Schlese Saddlery Service. Today I'd like to talk to you about the 9 points of saddle fitting for the Western saddle. My passion is to protect horse and rider from long-term damage. I see a lot of people out there to fit their horses but unintentionally hurt the horses. My focus is doing research on horses' back with experts around the world with biomechanics for horse and rider, as well as a lot of scientific research. I want to simplify it with the 9 points of saddle fit for the Western saddle. So please join me and let's go through the step one by one. So before we get going and go into the individual 9 points of saddle fitting, I'd like to draw your attention to the horse's back. I have drawn a figure here what humans use since 4,500 years and figured out where the horse can carry the most weight for a long period. I like to also point out the modern technology, what our grandfathers knew, what areas is extremely sensitive to the horse. The flank area is where absolutely no pressure should be. Now the difference between pressure and contact I will go into a little bit later through the individual stops. Between each vertebrae there are nerves and veins coming out, and we don't want to hit those nerves. So the channel is very important, which we address later on as well. Probably the worst area for the horse to experience any kind of pressure is in this triangle right through here. We don't want any pressure in this area. I'm going to go more in detail when we talk about the tree width and the tree angle. So the next area, what is very important, is this point right here. Very important for endurance riders or long distance riders. This is the MP13, the lung meridian point. If the saddle pressures there too much, the horse will not use their full breathing, and as a competitive rider, as a trail rider, as a hobby rider, that's not what I want to do to my horse. Same stuff your ears are made of, cartilage. It's a huge blob of cartilage on top of every horse's shoulder blade, and that is something we do not want to damage. So you see there's a lot of red, but you also see there's an area right here. That's the area where we're going to focus when we go through the 9 points of saddle fit. I'd like to talk to you about the billet placement, the cinch placement, the girth placement. If we have latigo or billets, no matter what girth you're going to use, gravity will rule. What I mean with that is, if you look at the horse's shape and rib cage, it goes narrow towards the front. Rule of thumb is a good video from the Spanish riding school where they show the end of the withers, approximately 5 inches behind the withers. That's the last rib what connects to the sternum. This is where I want to sit. And for the girth, you want to have the girth on top of the sternum. Some Western saddle have a back cinch. Now the back cinch can never be tight. Why is the back cinch there? Not to hold the saddle down. The back cinch is there for saddles when they're roping, or to stop the saddle from flipping up for one moment, not to hold the girth. Very sensitive, this area here, the solar plexus, where we do not want to see any pressure. So if I'm looking how this rib cage goes narrow, and here's the girth groove right in this area, that's where my cinch will most likely end up. So if I have a Western saddle where I attached billets, if they would come out from the center, this is your saddle weight bearing surface, the girth will go forward. And as soon as you do your trot to walk or riding down the hill, it will drive the saddle and push us very painful into the scapular and then to the MP13. So the billets, latigo, English girth or cinch, have to align with each other. Let me put a Western saddle on now and see how that saddle would fit with this girth configuration. Once you put the saddle in the right position, you want to feel underneath where the edge of the shoulder blade is. A good indication is where your poncho is. You want to make sure it's behind that. Then you look where your latigo hangs down. Move that fender a little bit out of the way, and you can see it hangs a little bit farther back. It will go to the groove area, and it will push and pull the saddle forward. Let me take this fender off to easier demonstrate. Here we have the ability to make that strap tighter, to throw the loop forward so it hangs now perpendicular right in the girth groove. By holding this cinch and this latigo in this right position, the saddle won't flip up in the back and won't go forward. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you find these tips very helpful. This is my calling, my passion. I like to protect horses and riders from long-term damage. Everything I showed you here, if it's your own horse, if it's your Olympic horse, if it's your pleasure horse, you will see he will be thanking you by you knowing more where the saddle can and should not sit. Thank you very much.